Hi.
Right. Yeah, so my name is Bohdan, and that's because I come from Poland. I was the person who cheered when Kerstin said she'd do a depressing poem. We don't really do happy in Poland, that's not a thing. We have other things we're good at, you know.
Plumbing.
If you want to, yeah, that. Or if you want to invade somewhere. We once lost a war to Sweden. I'm just saying. You know, I'm wearing a grey jumper. I'm from this kind of urban camouflage. Anyway, this is a very Polish poem. It's almost certainly impossible to appreciate the sheer beauty of an explosion. But I like to think of it as an intricate game of pinball, with a single atom suddenly propelled forward, bouncing back and forth, hurtling through the huge gaps in what we see as a solid thing, a unit, like a grain of gunpowder, say. Until suddenly, multi-ball, with a flash of many-colored light, all the others come alive, and then things become much too fast to follow as they all turn nervous and frantic and twitchy, and as they twist and tumble together, they leave behind them trails of searing light and weave them into the shape of a fiery flower you can only see bloom once. And it's almost certainly unbearable, right, to try and hear the music at the heart of an explosion. But I like to think of it as the moment in a song when the bass line finally kicks in. After the introductory clicks and clacks of the drumsticks smack the edge of the snare and the closed hi-hat, and yes, we've all heard far too many songs not to know what's coming, but still, when the muted chords finally explode, triggered by the detonating kick drum, they reach through your throat and down to your stomach, and they squeeze tightly, and you can never be ready for this. And it's almost certainly immaterial what the weather was like at the time of an explosion. But in my mind, I see an old sepia snapshot of a perfect summer afternoon. With the weather all the better because you have to conjure up your own blue for the sky, your own white for the clouds, your own faded red for the bricks, your own brown for those strange stains on the pavement. And there are no people in the picture. The exposure was too long, maybe here and there a hand that lingered on the doorknob, a hesitating foot, just a blur, a hint of presence, but no more. And it's almost certainly irrelevant. One life, lost in an explosion. But I like to believe that someone, somewhere, refuses to acknowledge numbers like 200,000 or 85%. And instead, they chronicle meticulously the pattern of displaced cobblestones, the frantic flight of startled birds, and the words still legible and letters spilling from a leather bag, and the balletic grace of a body flying slowly through the air and trailing blood like an afterthought on a perfect summer afternoon. And they will know that she was 29, that she hadn't seen her two sons for a week, that she had written a love letter in the morning, that she woke up lightheaded that day, believing against all evidence that this time things will just work themselves out. And I like to believe just before the shrapnel hit, she stopped for a moment, hand on the doorknob, balancing on one foot, thinking she had just heard the beginning of a song.